Hola chicos, primero que nada, gracias por su atención durante los últimos 2 días de la escuela, los primeros para ustedes. Siempre es difícil llegar a la escuela y hablar español, pero ustedes han hecho un trabajo fabuloso, así que muchas gracias por todo. Ok, en este screencast nosotros vamos a hablar un poquito del examen AP. So, la primera cosa que quiero explicar son las notas, ¿no? Y ustedes pueden ver qué quieren decir estas notas en cuanto a las universidades. Y aquí están. So 5, according to university, extremely well qualified, 4 well qualified, 3 qualified, 2 possibly qualified, and 1 no recommendation. Y normalmente lo que queremos es muchos estudiantes entre 3 y 5, y claro que nuestra meta siempre es el 5 para nosotros, ¿no? Porque nosotros somos expertos con el español. Ok, vamos a hablar un poco más específicamente de nuestro curso, de lo que nosotros tenemos que hacer en nuestro curso, y hay algunas cosas muy importantes aquí. No voy a traducir espontáneamente, so I'll go to English for this. So these are claims, in other words, what the AP student who receives a 3 or above should be able to do. And we see some of the claims here. The first one, the student has strong communicative ability in interpersonal, interpretive, and presentational modes. These are way of speaking. Interpersonal will be speaking with your friends. Informally, interpretive would be interpreting information, and presenting would be obviously doing a presentation. Student has strong command of linguistic skills, including accuracy and fluency, that support communicative ability. This is something that comes with time that we'll work with. The student comprehends Spanish intended for native speakers in a variety of settings, types of disclosure, topic styles, registered, and broad regional variations. This is key, this broad regional variations, and it's for that reason that we'll listen to as much Spanish as possible from as many different places as possible throughout the year. Finally, the student produces Spanish comprehensible to native speakers, so it's kind of like the reverse of this here. So, si estás hablando español así, pues una persona de España no podría entenderte. You get it? So strong accent and strong cultural knowledge as well is key. Student acquires information from authentic sources in Spanish. We will be doing everything authentically. Gone are the days of Juan y Marta y el perro y dicen, hola, ¿cómo estás? Muy bien, ¿y tú? We're done with that. The student is aware of some cultural perspectives of Spanish-speaking peoples. There is no place on the exam where it's a requirement, but there are places on the exam where it's certainly helpful to know about culture. That, by the way, is changing for next year, but you guys don't have to worry about that. All right, let's get to it. The exam structure. This is probably the most important part for us, and this is what I want to spend the rest of the time talking about here in this particular screencast. So, the exam is long. It's torture, I'm not going to lie to you. It's arduous. You can see here that the first part, Part A, is 80 minutes. The second part is 95 minutes. You can do the math, and that equals mucho tiempo, no? Taking a test for sure, so that by the time it's over, you're adequately tired. So Part A is listening, and you're going to do short dialogues and narratives. There are approximately 34 questions of short dialogues and narratives and long dialogues and narratives. These dialogues are authentic, and you're going to have people speaking different accents from different countries, and it takes some time. This part of the exam is worth 20% listening comprehension. The next part, Part B, is your reading comprehension section. Generally, people think they're better readers than listeners until they actually do these reading comprehensions. These are extremely difficult. We're going to do these reading comprehensions at home and in class, and you really need to spend time on them. You really need to spend a lot of time reading. There are multiple choice answers, so it's easy to cheat if you want to. If you do that, you're going to have a hard time for sure as we go along. And I'll also talk about that in further detail later and how it affects sort of how the grading works. So that's your first section of the exam, multiple choice, which for most people is actually harder than the free response, because with the free response we practice a ton. So Section 2, free response section. What are we doing here? Let's do this one in blue. Well, we start off with the writing section of the exam, and in the writing you have 2 parts. The first part is interpersonal writing. It's only 10% of the exam. It's a 10-minute assignment, and it's the easiest part of the exam. This part, I will put a little star next to it because it's super easy. You need to write an email and answer some questions. It's really very easy. This is where we gain points. 2 is the presentational writing part of the exam. In this part of the exam, you will read 2 articles. and you will listen to an audio prompt, and you will be asked a question about those. You'll need to, in a total of about 50 minutes, well, 55 minutes it says here, but 5 minutes is to plan. In 50 or 55 minutes, you'll need to write an essay citing all those sources and answering the question about those sources. No joke, very difficult, integrated skills because you need to integrate information, and we'll practice with that. Look at the percentage, 30% of your grade is huge. Part B is your speaking part of the exam. There is a speaking part. You'll have 2 sections. The first one is interpersonal speaking, where you'll awkwardly speak with a computer. You'll have 5 or 6 prompts. There'll be a conversation with somebody who will speak with you, and you'll answer questions and produce language. Not too bad once you get over the speaking with a machine part. Presentational speaking is very similar to your presentational writing. They're both presentational. The difference is that on this section, on the presentational speaking, you have to answer a question again, like in the presentational writing, but here you only have 1 audio source and 1 written source, as opposed to 2 written sources and 1 audio. In that section, you'll listen to a prompt, or you'll listen to a source, you'll read a source, and then you'll have 2 minutes to think and 2 minutes to plan your response. This is what we did in class on Friday. So that'll give you a little bit more of an idea of what it is you need to do. So, ahí está, esa es la información del examen que ustedes necesitarán. Siempre vamos a estar practicando con todas estas secciones. Por favor, lleguen a clase el martes listos para practicar con otra sección del examen. Gracias por su atención y nos vemos en clase. Espero que hayan tenido un fin de semana fabuloso. Nos vemos. Chao. Gracias.